Hello Internet, it's me Josh, the aging gamer. So, believe it or not, I played a lot of video games in my life. From my childhood to now, I've traveled to so many different worlds. I fought so many villains, went through so many dungeons, collected so many items, and conquered so much evil. And along the way, I've just grown attached to a lot of those heroes that I just control to accomplish those things. And there's certain characters that if they're the star of the game, I'll just blindly buy it. So, to get to my point, I'm doing a list. I'm ranking my top 10 favorite video game heroes of all time. In this list here, I'll be ranking my top 10 favorite heroes with some honorable mentions. But I'm going to be listing heroes that I'm just smitten with. But as the title says, I'll only be listing heroes here. Villains, on the other hand, depending on how this video goes, maybe I'll do another top 10 villains later on. But for this list here, yeah, top 10 video game heroes. The only rule I have for this list was they have to be of video game descent. So as much as I like characters like the Ninja Turtles and X-Men and Spider-Man, they don't apply here. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Aging Gamer's top 10 favorite video game heroes of all time. Let's go! Number 10, Mega Man. I've mentioned it in my reviews of the first two games, but I didn't play a lot of Mega Man games growing up. But since I've reviewed the first game, I've played a lot more, and goddamn, these games are great. Each game is an epic journey, and you just get attached to this little blue bomber. He's great. Mega Man just looks like this adorable little kid cyborg, but he's actually a robot built for destruction. He destroys his robot brethrens and steals their essence, their powers, to continue his onslaught of horror as he seeks revenge for those who did him wrong. Or something like that. I love Mega Man's design, and growing up I played lots of games with plumbers, magicians, aliens, animals, fairy boys, but not robots. Mega Man was missing from my childhood, but I'm glad I eventually found him. Number 9, Morgan. Not quite a hero, not quite a villain, Morgan is actually the anti-hero in the face of the Darkstalkers franchise. She's a fantastic character, and I'll give you two big reasons. One, because Darkstalkers, or as it's sometimes known as, Night Warriors, is a really fun game. Imagine a game like Street Fighter, but it's all spooky themed and all the characters are based off horror monsters. I love that kind of stuff, so this game is right up my alley. And my second reason for putting Morgan on this list is, well, look at her! She's a sexy goth girl with murderous intentions. What's not to love? Maybe the succubus effect is real, but if I see a game with her in it, I am checking it out. Number 8, Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong, overall, is just a gorilla wearing a red tie, and he has no business being as awesome as he is. DK isn't a deep character with a dark past or anything like that. What you see is what you get with the character. You touch his banana, and you're gonna piss him off. But with that said, there's so many games that he's been a part of that are just the bee's knees. Donkey Kong Country, Donkey Kong Land, DK64, Mario vs. Donkey Kong Country Returns, Tropical Freeze, they're all awesome. He's a fun hero, and if he needs to, he makes a great villain too. I'm not sure what makes me like him so much, but I'm a simple man, and DK is a simple character with a rich history. He's great in his games, and he's also awesome when he appears in others.
Sorry, Donkey Kong. You're just not a draw anymore. Hey, he still got it.
Number 7, Sonic the Hedgehog. What drew me to Sonic back in the day was, well, he's the only character that speeds around the levels like he does. He's also unique, as in he's a hedgehog and he's blue. And look at all that blast processing. He sure as hell stands out. He's got some radical 90s edge. All he's really missing is a pair of sunglasses. Also, having some funky Michael Jackson music and Dragon Ball Z inspiration really helps his cool factor. So, I, of course, fell in love with the Sonic franchise during the 90s. The first Sonic game I played was Sonic 2, and I was just blown away. And from there on out, Sonic the Hedgehog always had my attention. I haven't come close to playing every Sonic game in the franchise, but if the game looks good, I'll be there. Number 6. Cloud Strife. Let's go back to 1997 when Final Frickin' Fantasy VII was released on the PS1. I fell absolutely in love with this game. The characters, the music, the story, the feels that it makes me feel. I love it. And who is the star of this game? Cloud Strife. He's cool, he's spiky, he's got one of the coolest swords in gaming history, he's got 2 hot babes on his side, or maybe 1 hot babe, and he's just an awesome character. I will say though that my favorite version of Cloud is from the original game. Other versions of him kind of come off as mopey and kind of emo, which was not the feeling I got when playing the original Final Fantasy VII. He always seemed to me like an asshole who learned to open up and become a strong leader while also being a badass fighter. Some might say that Final Fantasy VII is overrated, but I think it's easy to see why. There's so many cool characters in this game. Tifa, Vincent, Barret, Sephiroth. But Cloud is my pick for my favorite. Number 5. Earthworm Jim. Now on to one of the grooviest guys on the list, Earthworm Jim. I got Earthworm Jim back on the Sega Genesis way on back in the day, and I've been in love with the game ever since. Jim himself is just a fun character. He's cartoony and wacky, but he's also serious when he needs to be. I just love his unorthodox arsenal in these games. He shoots with a variety of guns, which is awesome, and he can also pull his body out of his suit and use it as a whip, or even use it to grapple to places. He also has a booger as a sidekick. That's really random, but that's why I love it. Like I already said, he's just a fun character, which makes it such a shame that there hasn't been a new Earthworm Jim game in decades. He's only had 4 games in his entire series: Earthworm Jim 1, Earthworm Jim 2, Earthworm Jim 3D, and Earthworm Jim Menace to Society. And those last 2 games are utter crap. There was supposed to be an Earthworm Jim game for the PSP, but that got cancelled. And Earthworm Jim 4 was shown to be in the works for the Intellivision Amico, but that was all just a scam. Hopefully Earthworm Jim makes some kind of comeback. I mean, if Bubsy of all characters can make a return, why can't Jim?
Well done.
Number 4. Mario. Okay, so could I really do a list without including the Mickey Mouse of the gaming universe? Super Mario Bros. For the NES, as well as myself, both came out around the same time. I learned to play video games from Mario, and as I got older and more advanced, so did the Mario Brothers games. I would say that Mario and I grew up together. So how could I not love this character? There's been so many awesome Mario Brothers adventures throughout the years, and there's hardly a bad game in the bunch. I mean, Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers 2, Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario Land 1 and 2, Super Mario World, Super Mario 64, New Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, Super Mario Odyssey. My god, I've played these games to death, and I know them like the back of my hand. And the thing about Mario is that he's not just in some of the best platforming games, he's conquered every type of game. He can do racing games, fighting games, RPGs, puzzle games, sports titles. Mario can do it all, even movies. So, yeah, Mario himself hasn't really changed throughout the decades, but he doesn't need to. He's perfect just as he is. Here we go! Number 3. Ryu Hayabusa. Oh shit, I do love me some ninjas. Joe Musashi, Strider, Kasumi, Scorpion, and Sub-Zero, all badass gaming ninjas, but in my opinion, Ryu Hayabusa has them all beat. Ryu is the main character of the Ninja Gaiden series, as well as being, well, the most popular character outside of the boobs in Dead or Alive. Why do I like Ryu? Because he's goddamn awesome! In the NES series, he stabs and slashes his way through demons, robots, and all sorts of creatures in some of the most intense gaming you can have on the system. And while the NES series is fantastic, the 3D games are awesome as well. Hayabusa has a bunch of crazy new moves, and he leaves even more bloody messes of carnage and mayhem. Even though Ryu might just look like your basic ninja, I love the character because of the in-game adventures. Ninja Gaiden is a really hard series, no matter which game you're playing, but once you get the mechanics down, playing as Ryu feels so damn satisfying. Here's hoping that someday we get a Ninja Gaiden 4, whether that be a 2D or 3D sequel. Number 2. Link. The Legend of Zelda was one of the first games I ever got, so me and Link, we go way on back. While I didn't have a Super Nintendo growing up and I missed out on A Link to the Past, I've played every single Zelda game after that from start to finish, and I just love the series. And even though Link has always been a silent protagonist and really doesn't have a whole lot of character, I love him. Like a lot of the other characters on this list, I just became attached to Link through all the adventures and games that I've played with him. Now, there's many different versions of Link out there. Not every Link is the same person, and technically there's been around a dozen different Links. If I had to choose my favorite Link, I'd probably have to go with the Hero of Time Link. He was the Link from the Nintendo 64 games, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. Ocarina of Time is in my top 3 favorite Zeldas, and while I actually don't like playing Majora's Mask, I do love the story. This version of Link had my favorite adventures. So, yeah, Link is one of my all-time favorites. Now before I get to my number 1 pick, here's a few honorable mentions. Number 1. Samus. The deadly space bounty hunter gets my top pick for my favorite video game hero. Samus has it all. A badass look, a variety of deadly weapons, and a take shit from no one attitude. Throughout her adventures, we've seen her destroy lots of crazy monsters, and as well as taken her share in the destruction of many planets. She's awesome, and almost all her games are top-notch. Almost. She's a strong character that just looks so cool. Look at that badass suit. She's got just as many awesome suits as Iron Man. And underneath it, she's a bodacious blonde. So yeah, Samus gets my top pick. She's cool, she's still somehow mysterious after all these decades, and she's even my main in the Super Smash Bros. Series. Huzzah for the great Samus! So, those are my top 10 favorite video game heroes of all time. But what about you guys? What do you guys think? Who are your favorite video game heroes? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you don't like this video, you can give it a dislike. That's up to you. But if you do like this video and you want to make sure you see other videos later on, make sure you hit that subscribe button. So, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.
人気抜群のアクションソフトメトロイド2を紹介しよう。あのメトロイドがぐーんとパワーアップしてアイテム充実、敵キャラだって最高にエキサイティング。ゲームボーイソフトメトロイド